So, drug reduction update. How many is it? It's like, yeah. I reduced the dose again about 9 weeks ago. Was deliberating on whether or not to do so, but limited mental bandwidth once again became a debilitating issue, and my hand was forced. It's made a world of difference in that respect. Before the reduction, I was in constant mental agony. My mind was trying to think, but there was so much resistance to it doing so. And that became more and more of a problem over time. It correlated with my becoming more complex as a person too. That's something I am obviously very aware of, though I can understand how for others it could be difficult to grasp. On a neural level, I imagine more connections are being formed, which would make sense, I suppose. With successive reductions, my emotional range has broadened, and my sex drive has increased. That's had an effect on, it must have had an effect on the lens that I look at the world through. So I've had to develop how I think about things in general. The goalposts have been moved. This time I have reduced by half a dose. So I take I alternate between taking 7.5 milligrams of olanzapine one day and then 10 milligrams the next, and then back and forth. So basically I think it's 8.75 on average I'm on, which I think was a good idea. Yeah, because the previous drops, because the tablets are like 2.5 drops each time, and that's quite a lot, and I found that quite severe. I think so far it seems not too bad. The first 3 weeks, yeah, as with partial reductions, I was buzzing. The next few weeks were difficult, but things are looking up, and there's not been that extreme withdrawal this time, which is great. I have learned from the past, so this time round I've limited my social activities and made sure to get lots and lots of sleep, and well, stress is lower too at the moment, but that's not something I can really control, I suppose. But yeah, done those kind of things, which I think has made a huge difference. When I have socialised, it's really thrown me. It's left me exhausted, and it's taken a day or sometimes even 3 days to recover. On one occasion I chatted to my friend for about half an hour, and that just put me out. I was exhausted. So it's not even particularly intense interaction. It's, one-on-one and people I know. I think, the big issue this time round has been, as I mentioned in a previous video, Asperger's. I seem to find people and socialising much more work now than in the past. Maybe because my mind is less dulled, less tranquilised, less dulled by the meds or the drugs, whatever you want to call them. It's more sensitive. Socialising, the way I describe it, for me, it's like having to painstakingly pick apart an incredibly tangled mess, which takes a lot of effort and concentration and is exhausting. Obviously, everyone who reduces these drugs won't have issues with Asperger's. But I guess that's kind of the point. We're each individuals, and it's not an exact science. And I had no idea what awaited when I began my reduction all those years ago. It's not an exact science, and there are many factors at play. You know, the brain's a complicated piece of kit. There's also a wider issue here. It's to do with the perception of the mentally ill. There are all these labels that get put on people, but no two people's experience is exactly the same. I mean, yeah, obviously, if two people break their leg, there'll be different ways of breaking it, and it breaks in different areas or different locations. But when it comes to the brain is so complicated that reducing it to labels just doesn't make sense. I mean, I go to the psychiatrist's office and everything seems to get tarnished with the schizophrenia brush. The problem really is that the individual is seen as the problem. There's something amiss in their brain, or so we're told. A chemical imbalance or all that kind of stuff. But all this kind of thinking does is create an environment where stigma can thrive. And it also removes the responsibility from the wider society. You know, yeah, the individual. Everyone, it's almost like blaming someone's brain for a problem that is actually most likely to do with how fucked up the world is. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, it's easy to see how this kind of thing happens. This way of thinking. Humans, we like the world black and white. Everything tidied away into neat little boxes. We are naturally lazy creatures, after all. I mean, that's survival. That's evolution. Isn't it? Oh dear, I've lost my place. Yeah, that's just evolution. I actually wrote that. We have a habit of trusting ideas because they come from apparent authority as well. Or, yeah, which is quite scary. Yeah, but there really needs to be a radical shift in the way that people are. We've seen it happening with sexuality and gender, which is, nowadays individuality is widely encouraged. And yet, it just isn't recognised in the psychiatrist's office. It doesn't help that resources are overstretched and time is limited. But hey, welcome to Earth, right? We seem to need things to be simple, and labels of mental illness mean that people don't have to deal with how complicated the world really is. I mean,